From the Brecker Brothers to Jay's Ruckus, more and more horn players are using effects pedals. In this video, you're going to get a breakdown of my pedal board and how I use it on songs from the quarantine sessions. Hi, my name is Jason Klobnak and I'm a jazz trumpeter from Denver, Colorado that helps musicians find a better way to improvise. If you're looking for a quick jazz improv tip that will help your soloing, then you've come to the right place. In just a few days, the last EP from Jay's Ruckus, called Quarantine Sessions, will reach its 1-year anniversary. This was all recorded remotely at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic by each musician from their home. If you'd like to check out the original videos, they'll pop up over here throughout this video. But back to the topic of using effects pedals. Each horn player in this band has their own unique setup that we use either during the melody of a song or during a solo. If you're ready, let's check out my setup. This is my board. There are a number of different ways that you can create your own setup that I could get into, but would recommend you check out my guys Aaron and Doug over at hornfx.com because they have the best resources on how-tos, choosing various pedals, signal chain theory, and so much more. My setup, though, uses an AMT wireless mic on my BAC trumpet that sends a signal to this receiver here. I'm using the P800 microphone. And while I have both types of AMT receivers, the smaller one fits on the board and easily connects to my first pedal using a 1/4 inch out, which is what the vast majority of pedals require. This allows the right type of signal flow, as pedals are generally not designed for horn players, but rather guitars, basses, and keyboards. The first pedal in my chain is this TC Electronics Quintessence, which is a harmonizing pedal. I can set the key I'm playing in, the mode, as well as the harmony. It allows me to put the harmony either above or below my original sound. While above probably works well for guitar players, I find that having the harmony below blends better for horns. I could go into more detail on each pedal and what they're capable of, but that's a perfect reason to go check out Horn Effects because they've got that covered so well. Continuing on in the chain of pedals, we go to the Electro Harmonics pitchfork. While the Quintessence will shift an alternate pitch to create harmony within a given key area, the pitchfork is a polyphonic pitch shifter. It will take an absolute interval of maybe a fifth or an octave and move it up or down from the original pitch, regardless of key. This can create some really cool effects, but unless I'm intending to use it for that, I like using this pedal to give me octaves above or below my original sound. Next up is arguably one of my favorite pedals ever, and that's the Source Audio Nemesis Delay. Every player needs a solid delay pedal, and this one can do so much more than what I typically need. You can change just about every parameter you'd need. Type of delay? Check. Rhythmic types of delays? Check. Tap the pedal to match the tempo? Also check. On top of that, Source Audio has an external editor that you can plug the pedal into your computer and make even more advanced settings and save it directly to the pedal. Next up on the chain is another Source Audio pedal called Stingray that I use to get various filter effects like an auto wah. Like other pedals on this board, it has so many adjustable features that I really don't need, but are there if I wanted to dial something more specific in. Finally, on my board, I have the Boss VE20. It's originally made for vocalist and has a lot of the same features as the other pedals on my board as an all-in-one. While the effects themselves are fine, it's not live friendly to switch between multiple effects. I generally keep it set to an overdrive or distortion setting. But what makes the pedal great is that it also allows me to convert my signal from the 1/4 inch into an XLR cable that gets sent either to the live sound engineer or to the recording console. Again, why that is important is covered very well by the guys at Horn Effects. You should definitely check them out. What does this sound like in action and how do you use it? There's no manual on how to use it for horn players, as this comes down to taste. In my opinion, making changes to sounds or using effects should be used along with phrasing. There's something awkward about overusing an effect or even changing them mid-phrase. It's disruptive to the line and may not be adding anything of value to what you're playing. I'm also looking at how each effect complements the last line I just played, or how it can enhance the next one that makes sense in context with, guess what I just played. Let's take a listen to the first example from the song called Quarantine, that also features fellow YouTube trombonist Christopher Bill, who's, guess what, also using effects on our solo trades. The first pedal I use in this phrase is the Source Audio Nemesis delay over a clean trumpet sound. It's subtle, which is what I'm going for. The next is the Boss VE20 with a distortion pedal, and then adding a chorus effect on top of the distortion to add a little something extra. The next example is from the same album on a song called Let's Be Honest. Similar to Quarantine, I'm starting with a clean trumpet sound, but then add the electro-harmonics pitchfork with an octave down to make the line bigger. And, of course, because she's awesome, our bassist Kim knows I'm going to play that line, and she just doubles it again, so it makes it nice and full. One of the next phrases uses the TC Electronics quintessence, and then I go right back into the pitchfork pedal. Notice how the entire solo doesn't use pedals the whole time. It's about balancing or enhancing the sound. If the song calls for effects the entire time, then absolutely go for it. If all you need is a little touch of something, then go for that. Funny how that works. I'd recommend an improvised solo to be treated the exact same way. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that it has added value or benefit to your playing in some way. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell that's right next to it that lets you know when another video comes out. And if you know any other musician that might find this useful, you can share it with them too. Until then, my name is Jason Klobnak, and I'll see you on the next one.